All right, guys, I'm here. Hopefully you can see me live. I'm waiting for my guest because, of course, he's running late. His name is Rick Stoner. He and I formed a friendship a little over a year ago, and we set out some terms and conditions for our friendship because he was heavily involved with the Bitcoin maximalist camps, and I am a known shitcoiner. So he's hopefully going to be here any minute. Can you guys see me right now? Someone comment and let me know. Okay, it says that I've got 3 live viewers. So hopefully that's really the case and you can see me and all's well. So while we wait for Rick to show up, I have a special message from my sponsor and I'm waiting for her too. Are you almost ready?
Yeah.
Okay, go get your things. Okay. Go get your things. Bring them here. Okay. So this is Nerd Kid. She's mine. And she made these, what are these called?
Paper squishies.
Paper squishies. And she made a Bitcoin one. And she made a hex one. And she would make any kind that you wanted. And how much did you said you wanted to sell these, right?
Yeah.
How much do you want for these?
$3.
$3 a piece plus shipping. So if anyone is interested in paper squishies made by Nerd Kid, you know how to reach me. Anything else you want to tell them?
No.
Nothing else?
Nope.
Okay. I love you.
All right, love you too.
I'll see you after your stream. Or after my stream. Here's these.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Rick is still not here, so I'm going to call and harass him. Oh, he left me voicemails.
Do your intros. I will be there in just a moment. Almost to be clicking that button in like the next less than 90 seconds.
All right. He says he's clicking the button in less than 90 seconds. Okay. So yeah, Rick and I became friends, like I said, a little over a year ago when he came across some of my content related to crypto tribalism and said that when he got started, thank you. Yes, she is adorable. When he got started with crypto, that was kind of the angle that he was looking at as well. But over time, he got really pulled into the maximalist camp. So like I said, we created some terms and conditions of our friendship. And then over time, it kind of felt like I was honoring the terms and conditions and he wasn't. And then I went on Maddie Allen's stream, Hex Therapy. And it just so happened that day, Rick was home from work, feeling sick, just kind of hanging out by his computer. And he happened to watch that stream. And in that stream, I went on and on about, my relationship with the Bitcoin my friend with a Bitcoin maximalist and the terms and conditions and how he wasn't honoring the terms of our friendship. And that was hurting my feelings and how, calling people shitcoiners isn't nice and isn't a productive way for moving forward if we're trying to think about ways that we can work together in the industry. So he ended up seeing that stream and shortly after, called me and said, hey, you know what? Like that had this major effect on me. And I realized that, that you were right, that not only is tribalism an issue that I've been thinking about for a long time, but it's one that I've become subject to myself and, started talking about some of what he's observed from being kind of an insider in Bitcoin, in the Bitcoin maximalist world. And I have no idea how much of that he's going to share with us today. I think what one of the major points that he was saying is like a lot of it is exactly the same. It's just a sales pitch from one side or the other. But, that doesn't mean like one thing is a shitcoin and one thing isn't a shitcoin. Could potentially be that like it's all equivalently shitcoins. So yeah, we're going to hear what Rick has to say. Hopefully any minute, Rick. And he is anon, so I'm not sure if his camera will be off or if he'll have like some kind of covering for his face. But Rick is not doxxed with his face. Let's see, what else can I tell you about him? Do you guys have any questions about like while we wait for him to join the stream that I could maybe answer for you? No? Nothing? Okay. All right. Well, hopefully he'll be here any second. Let's see. What else can I tell you? So Rick has been an admin and a regular contributor on the Max and Stacy Kaiser's Orange Pill podcast. He's no longer a moderator on that podcast that I'm aware of. I don't have the full details of the story of what went down between them, so I don't want to speculate and say too much because that's really more his place to share what he wants to share. But I can tell you that one article that I wrote recently, and it's pinned to my profile on Twitter still, it says married to Bitcoin, to have and to hodl. And the article was about, the changing tide of the new wave of monogamy and tying that to if Bitcoin is a software that doesn't demand exclusivity, why do some people practice it anyway? And I was really, really surprised because still am actually in the Orange Pill podcast Telegram group because just in there, I just don't talk about anything. I mostly don't even speak. I just observe kind of what's going on. And so in there, I was surprised that when the article was published in Gokstein magazine, I went in the group and I dropped it there, and I was like, hey, I'm just going to drop this here and then I'm going to run away. And I'm, never say anything. I don't want to hear a bunch of shit. I was actually shocked by the number of people who responded extremely positively, even within the group, and maybe didn't say outright, I own crypto, I own other cryptos or I own altcoins, but even said stuff like, yeah, marriage is a contract. And I was like, yeah, and contracts are negotiable. And the guy's like, someone said, yeah. And especially these days, more and more people are, seeing why it's unproductive to hold only one asset forever and ever. So, and then I was also shocked by the number of people who sent me DMs afterwards commending the work, and by the minimal number of people who had criticism for it. Now, that said, I didn't mention any shit coins by name within the article. And the reason for that was that it was kind of an introduction. I wanted to be, because I was using terms referring to Bitcoin maximalism, I really didn't want to be offensive to the group. And I knew that mentioning specific altcoins or any altcoins by name would be offensive. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted it to be the start of opening a dialogue. And so luckily, that kind of worked. And I'm sure that I'll be removed from that podcast at some point in the future. Stoner, does he buy weed with Bitcoin? Probably not. I'm assuming, actually, you know what? Rick is a gardener and he lives in a country where it's legal to manufacture. So I don't think that he buys weed at all. But if he did, I bet you that he would use Monero. I'm calling him again right now. I'm going to stay here on the phone with you while I call him. Not on the phone, on the stream.
Okay, now you're making things.
I'm what?
Hello?
Are you coming?
Yes, I just finished getting it all working.
You what?
I just finished getting it all working. I'm going to connect in a moment.
Okay, hurry. It's been 10 minutes.
I know. Well, I don't do this. Yeah. Anyways, all good.
All right, bye, Rick. See you soon.
Okay, bye.
All right, well, you guys just heard him say that he's going to be here soon, so hopefully. Also, recently, Rick has commented kind of positively on some Hex threads, saying that he's heard some positive things. So I'm looking forward to hearing, what kind of research he's done, what he's found, what his perception is. It's funny that for the last year, so one of the terms and conditions of our friendship was that I would never try to shill him my shit coins, and that he would never try to convince me that I should become a Bitcoin maximalist. So he violated those terms several times, and he knows that I think that. But I really didn't. Like, I would talk sometimes about Hex or other cryptos that I was excited about. Other things in crypto that I thought were worth mentioning, but never in a way that was trying to get him to buy. And but he would, occasionally try to say that my being unbanked was a good case to make that I would eventually become a Bitcoin maximalist. To which I said, how in the world, as an unbanked person, could I ever become a Bitcoin maximalist? That doesn't make any sense at all, because Bitcoin is slow and expensive to transact in. And you can't just like go to the store and buy something with Bitcoin, not small things, not stuff like groceries. So that was kind of one of our early fights that we got into. And yeah, anyway, so over this time, I know that he's heard quite a bit about Hex. I know that he has done some independent research. What's funny, though, is that even when we weren't talking about it kind of openly, so often some of the things that he would say to me, I would be like, yeah, because what you're actually saying is like so similar to what Richard says or what Hexicans say. Like, what you're looking for, what you're talking about already exists, and you just haven't made the leap to realize that it's the most hated thing yet. So maybe that can come up at some point today. I don't want to pressure him too much. Also, we're like already almost halfway into this stream and he hasn't even shown up yet. So yeah. Anybody else have questions that I can address while I wait? Because yeah, hopefully he'll be here soon. What else can I tell you? Oh, there he is. He's here. I'm adding him to the stream right now. Here he is, Rick Stoner.
I feel like an altcoin dev from 2017.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you did a nice long introduction, I'm sure.
I did a really nice long introduction. My daughter came on and showed the paper squishies that she made that she wants to sell.
Today, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. You too.
I bet you nobody ever compliments you at the start of the stream, do they?
Lately it's been tapering off. So thank you.
Oh, that'll encourage them to make sure that they compliment you while they get on the show.
So Rick, you look lovely as well.
I imagine I'm always mysterious. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm now going to tweet that we are live because we are live and you're actually here.
I intend to be looking glitchy, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's part of your thing. All right, Rick. So I gave you an introduction. I kind of said, you and I became friends, a little over a year ago. And we had some terms and conditions of our friendship. Do you remember what they were?
Oh, no, I don't. Those actually survive, do they?
I think we both violated them at different times, but
violating, that might be bad for your listeners here. Everybody's gonna be like, they're violating things.
Well, they understand. They know.
I'm sure their imagination understands.
All right. They know me. They know me. So I meant like,
these are your TikTok fans or your Twitter fans?
These are my friends.
I'm really, really giving you haze right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Rick. So do you remember what it was, like why you reached out to me?
Oh, of course I know why.
Okay. Why?
Cancel culture, the infection of cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm. And it was really surprised me at the time because you were really heavily involved with the Bitcoin maximalist crowd. And you identified at the time.
Okay, I was because we never got to do let's use no names publicly. Just so that we can stay on good playing grounds of not slandering anybody.
No other people's names.
No other people's names, but yes, continue the question.
Okay, no problem. We can do that. So so you were pretty like heavily involved with the Bitcoin maximalist crowd.
You know who they all are.
Yeah, I've already said their names.
Well, that's none of my business because I didn't get to hear them right now.
Yeah.
So this list of maximalism actually grows much larger than what you know. In the last week alone, I have uncovered much new stuff that I was trying to get to you, but it just didn't work that way. We've been both very busy this last week, so, and I know that we consult with one another at least on a monthly basis and discuss these rumors and discuss
Usually
these
more
tragic,
often than that.
I'm going to call it tragic social cancel culture events that are going on inside of crypto. People are like trying to tell other people that they're helping, and that's a lie. Like, that's a lie.
Right.
I'm straight out, it's a lie. If somebody in this domain says they're trying to help you by getting you to buy crypto during a rally event, that's fiscally irresponsible. That's a lie.
Right.
It's like you and I going gambling in a casino and me telling you put $100,000 on this next round of blackjack. That's a lie.
Mhm.
Like, you got a high percentage chance
You're
losing
right,
all your
Danny.
money.
We are family. Yeah.
You have all the chance of losing your money just right there instantly, right? And that's fiscally irresponsible. And there's so many people giving out fiscal irresponsible advice in crypto right now, and it's really pissing me off.
Okay,
Like,
so
it's just shouts of noise from every direction right now, from the naysayers and from the supporters. I can't see anybody who has any logic to their rhyme or reason right now.
what about me?
Well, I mean, like, you're running on a path of, you're looking at the social culture here. I'm talking about whether it's responsible to shout out a coin name or shout, like, I'm going to do my best not to say anything about any crypto today, because I feel like that's irresponsible. If I say one name, they'll be like, wow, stoners and that.
Mhm.
Then that's just doesn't feel fiscally responsible, because everybody, it's like we're in a big giant circus right now. Everybody's pretty excited. If I jump up and down and go, come over to my booth here, you can shoot at the dots for $100 a piece. Just know that 99 of them I get, $1 you never get. It goes into fees, like gas fees. Wait, I could say that, can't I?
Yeah. All right, so Rick, let's go. Okay, so you and I started talking because you were saying that when you first got involved with crypto journalism, you were looking at instances of tribalism and cancel culture, but then you became really heavily involved with the Bitcoin maximalist tribe and camp. And, I know that you frequently say you're not a maximalist.
It's not the first time either. We understand this, right? I've bounced in and out of maximalism, trying to seek, like anybody trying to seek like a refuge home inside of social media on crypto. We all have our little niche. We all go to either Facebook, or we go to Twitter, or we go to something else like that. So I was just looking for my place, and I found out that it goes beyond cult like activities, that the good old boys, you didn't say that, somebody said that the other day. Right, now I know who said that. I'm not going to reference her name. I should give her credit for that, though. But the good old boys. You know what? Shit, I am going to give her credit to that.
All right.
The Satoshi brothers, or the Wall Street bros. Coolest group I've been encountered yet. Really neat people in there. Everybody's open-minded. There's really no such thing as a shit coin. It's everything is just another inspirational piece of data that they might be able to make money off of, which all the power to them. That's fiscally responsible. They're all chasing the dream. I don't mind that. So one of them had said in that, like, I quote that lady who said this, the good old boys, like a big good old boys club. That is not maximalism. That is not fiscally responsible. That isn't even morally responsible. That's like me trying to sell somebody dog poop and tell them it's the most amazing thing ever, because that's what maximalists are doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to do that? Here, I'll sell you a house, Nicole. I'll sell it to you for $200,000, but next year it's only going to be worth $50,000. Do you want to buy it? I'm telling you, it's the best thing ever.
Nope, I really don't.
Absolutely the best thing. You want to buy it this high interest and this high price.
All right,
like,
so
that's
Rick,
what I sound like, a broken maximalist record. I mean, we should make one.
So
it just skips every time, and it goes skip by the top, skip by the top, skip by the top.
So
like that's what maximalism is.
So multiple times, Rick, you've become involved with maximalists, and multiple times you've ended up turning away from it. This most recent time had something to do with an appearance that you saw of me on Maddie Allen's show, Hex Therapy Live.
Yeah, because you just sort of opened the door of realization even more. I'm like, wow, I'm now subjecting myself to poison.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And
If I want to do that continuously, then like you're gonna end up dying, right? So
Yeah.
to try and exist in a cancel culture environment with a whole bunch of maxi, you're going to destroy your own personal health because it's toxic. It's an absolute toxic environment.
so some
People actually laugh about that and they say, "Oh, toxic maximalism is cool." I'm like, really?
yeah.
It's like, wow, I want to run into you at a party because I'll tell you what, you're gonna not be at that party anymore.
Yeah,
There's
but
no
so
way.
you still are somewhat of a toxic maximalist, because there have been times when I'm like, I wrote that article where I referenced you, that married to Bitcoin, to have and to hodl. And then I was like, hey, Rick, why are you not retweeting my article? I referenced you, like you're a huge part of that piece. And you're like, I
because
can't.
people wear, pardon the expression, they don't wear underwear. They don't have any couth anymore, and you have to follow along in that narrative, because if you retweet the wrong person or if you forward the wrong person, then you lose followers. Like right now, I've been losing hundreds of followers on Twitter. I don't know whether that's because they're disabling all of the Chinese phones again or what's going on, but something's happening or appears to be happening and started happening about 3 weeks ago again in social media.
Oh yeah, I lost like 500 last week, and I didn't know if it was because there was some drama between me and and something, an exchange, or if it was because of, bot followers and mass deletions and something like that. But whatever, I just moved forward. Anyway, so yeah, so you still do to some degree like bow to cancel culture.
Explain.
Well, if you're saying like you don't retweet something because you're worried about losing followers over it.
I'm not worried about that. I'm predicting the future of things that I still require or need.
Okay. All right. I hear you. Those connections are still important.
Yeah, but
Okay.
there was a show I just recently saw, and it was talking about the actors in crypto and how there's good actors and bad actors. We all know them. I've interviewed one of the major, I don't know if you'd call him a good bad actor or bad good actor yet. Still, it's quite confusing, or can be, because we have guys like Peter Schiff, who are, I know I said not to use his name, but he's not in crypto, but he criticizes crypto a lot. And, people tend to wonder, is this real or is he just acting? I think I really want to know that now, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Is he real or is he acting? I'd like to go and ask him that right in person. In fact, is this just a joke? Are you playing like Days of Our Lives in Twitter? And if you are, he should feel shameful, because it's not fiscally responsible to be crying wolf in social media with so many followers.
Okay, so do you remember really like shortly after you and I started talking and became friends, you brought me into a Twitter conversation between kind of the leader of the Bitcoin maximalist cult.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
The only person mentioned by name in the infamous white paper. You brought me into a conversation with him that was about tribalism and about this, how they are sick of, or how the sales pitch for alts is really tiresome, because the idea, like sales pitch about funding innovation, is like.
So what's the sales pitch for Bitcoin then? Can you tell me that? Tell me, what's that sales pitch? Buy the top,
Right?
or buy like something worth a house, and then it's only worth like a box of KFC later.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't work. Like, it's not fiscally responsible. You don't go and buy $50,000 lottery tickets.
Well, but so do you remember him? So he and I ended up having this public conversation, a lot of which is quoted in the article that I wrote. But where I said, so where I ended up saying, so you're saying that he says that innovation is possible and credit where it's due, but the sales pitch is tiresome and there's too much to consume because there's too many new products launching. And then my listen, let me finish. And then my response was, my response via the article was, okay, so he just said that it's the responsibility of Bitcoiners to protect people who are new to crypto, from buying into, shit coins and pre-mined alts and, other such scams. And so kind of my response was like, so it's the responsibility of... By
the way, just to be clear, Bitcoin was also pre-mined. So he was so full of shit, it wasn't even funny. He doesn't even know his own history. Like, I run into people like this all the time.
Yeah.
I have religious people come to my door sometimes, and then I start to quiz them, and I go, "Oh, what the hell is the matter?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, I did get an A in university in religion, world religion." So I start becoming the quizzer and the teacher. It's the same thing we saw in this. He was shouting obscenities at just the air out in the noise and not even making sense with it. But one thing that I want to comment about that gentleman is that we have been fracturing and changing him. You and we've been commenting lightly, and he's watching. And remember, I posted out this last comment that he had made, and it was very cryptic, and it was talking about exactly what I'm saying today, how maximalism is so toxic that it's actually ruining Bitcoin's image now. And it is. I mean, and if that's the decisive decision of wolves, well, I know one thing: wolves can't walk on water, right? And I'm starting to get that when a wolf starts walking on water, when they're underwater, they turn into this panic beast in the crypto scene that you've never. It would be like BitConnect. I can actually really put BitConnect and toxic Bitcoin maximalists in the same category. They're so close. I mean, if they just started singing like whatever his name is, they'd be identical.
So what I ended up, what the conclusion that I reached was, okay, so this person said that the reason that, Bitcoiners are exempted from needing to read or look into anything that isn't Bitcoin is that there's an overabundance of consumables. And so then I said, so you're telling me that the people who you just excused from looking into projects that might really be innovative or might already have innovated and be complete products are the same people who you're putting as responsible for other people's money or for protecting other people's money? That sounds a lot like the SEC.
I'm a little confused at the direction of this question. Can you elaborate again?
Oh no, I'm just kind of clarifying for anybody who's watching who isn't aware of it. But I think you can kind of see what I'm saying is his excuse for saying Bitcoiners don't promote other products is that they don't have time to read all of the white papers because there's so much material.
You know what this is like. This is like you and I having $100 bill each and saying that the $50 bill is worthless and the $20 bill is worthless and all that change in your, this here. Let's see. Here's the last time that money was worth anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
After this all changed, that was it, guys. Like, as soon as ever the world let silver vanish, we were screwed. And it's the same type of thing as what's happening with Bitcoin maximalists. They're going to try and get the monetary smaller units vanished, but that's not going to work. It's not going to happen. We're a creature of habit. Nobody is just going to use Bitcoin on Earth. That's the most foolish, uneducated statement that anybody could make. If I see any kind of Bitcoin maxi saying something like that, I already know their own intelligence is ignorant to their own ego. And they're basically a selfless person and uneducated, because how could you even consider something like that to be a reality? Telling me that we're not going to have any smaller digits in our money? Yeah, right.
Well, or even that Bitcoin will always be king.
Well, it isn't anyways.
Mm-hmm.
That's been done since 2017. It's Ethereum. Like I'm not my favorite to say, and I don't even believe it's really king. I think it'd
Mm-hmm.
be more of a toss up between like all the great. Well, we call them the titans, like Eth, Litecoin, Dash, Monero. You know these 5 or 6 coins. I think I missed a couple there. Um, they've been around for a lot of years. They very much established themselves. Bitcoin, it's just like if we go back to this example of if I want to send some money in Bitcoin to you, it's going to cost me like $30. The same thing's going on with Ethereum right now. They're
Mm-hmm.
actually both running in the opposite direction that they should right now. So
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum in its greatness could actually be its own downfall again, right? Same thing with Bitcoin in its greatness, it's becoming a downfall. Who wants to pay $200 in fees to send around $100? That's just not right. And then everybody, of course, preaches lightning. Lightning bullshit. You know, and I've
Mm-hmm.
heard lightning for 5 years. Until you get that coders inside a core of Bitcoin who are actually wanting to change things, but they won't. They won't. They're too scared to. There's too many billions of dollars circulating. They make one mistake, they're going to wreck everything, and it's going to be bad.
So, just actually, this is a good time to mention this because of the unbelievably high fees. Most of the people who are watching this show right now are Hexicans, are into Hex cryptocurrency, and what we're noticing now is ending stakes. You know, when ending stakes cost like $45, like everyone was like, "Man, that's a
Right.
bummer," right? But now I went to end a stake the other day, and it was over $100 to end it, and I was like, "That is insane." That is crazy. $100 to end a steak? Like,
That's not a bad meal, right? I mean, that's more than one time at McDonald's, but you can sit at a nice restaurant and eat a nice meal for $100,
that's more than my monthly electricity bill.
right?
Yeah. So,
And
so
it's
actually,
and who gets all these fees?
I believe that right now the miners get the fees, and
Mm-mm.
eventually the stakers will get the fees if Ethereum ever transitions to proof of stake.
So
Anyway,
the miners have us all in the stranglehold right now, by the way, and
mhm.
that's becoming apparent. Nobody's talking about this. They're not talking about, well, we're gonna need fees because we're gonna need miners because we're gonna need to have all this. And it's like, yeah, but the miners are trying to get rich off of us in round one.
And yeah, nobody really, I remember early dialogue about Bitcoin. It was like even 2006, 2015, 2016 conversation, nobody was really concerned about it because everybody thought that the miners were acting for the good of the network and they wouldn't start to become excessively greedy. But, properties of money indicate that eventually, people
They're
always,
now greedy.
yeah, yeah,
The greater evil outweighs the greater good. It's the
yeah,
way of humanity. I wish people would admit it more.
yeah,
I try and tell everybody one of our greatest feats of being a creature is that we are masters of lying. We
yeah.
are. You could tell me a lie and it would be very hard to decipher whether it was the truth or not. That is some incredible skill our race has, and everybody uses it, and it really is annoying.
So anyway, I wanted to tell you really quickly. Actually, there is going to you right now. Currently, Hex's founder is working on creating his own chain. It's called Pulse. It's Pulse Chain, right, guys? That's what the final name is.
Pulse
And
sounds kind of neat, actually. I'm gonna give
right?
somebody a plug on this Avalanche. We've been laughing about Avalanche a lot, just because of the name. We're like, oh, really? Like, is this represent a crypto really well?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
But so yeah, Pulse is something
Pulse
I don't
does. It's a
have
cool
really
name.
any details about how soon it's coming or anything that is really being allowed to
Are you
share.
sure
But
this isn't just going to be like an ICO round? Like I'm starting to hear that now.
no,
People are
so
mumbling like, are we having iterations of ICOs coming out in all of these DeFi rebrand rounds?
no, so I don't think so. Based on the way that Richard was with creation of Hex, where like there wasn't investment before the product was complete. So I don't think. I mean, maybe if there's someone who knows more about if there could be if we're talking about raising funds for the project before it's while it's still a project and before it's a product. But based on what I know from history, I don't think that we're looking at an ICO.
Let me re-elaborate the question. Crypto is seeing another surge of evolution here right now, and it looks like we're going to have ICO type behavior from a lot of different coins so that they can reassert and make more funds for themselves for development. Like, I understand that part. I understand. And everything costs money to go around. So why don't they just come out in the open and say that, hey guys, we need to crowdfund because we suck and we bought a Lambo last time. Right? Like, they don't be transparent with us, and maybe they would get a little bit of better results instead of have this bad shame karma that comes with being collaborators of collusion. Do you understand? Like,
yeah, for sure. In fact,
people are
it's
actually
a topic that's discussed a lot in this community.
People are creating projects just to cause other people financial ruin. That's something that I don't approve of. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, others think it's funny, but how is it funny when it's our only desire? It's the thing that gets everything to go around, gets a roof over your head, gets food in your mouth, and you want to just steal it from somebody else? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I know markets are winners and losers, right? When you sell, somebody else is losing. When you buy, you might be losing. But to encourage that behavior inside of social media and to prop it up is definitely not right. I'd never, when people lose money, I don't go, wow, good for you. It'd be like the same thing as somebody saying, hey, my mom just died. I'd be like, yeah, that's awesome. No, that's not. It's and people think that it's this not the same thing so that they can still credit. No. People's morals have really, really vanished a lot in crypto as of recent, haven't they?
I mean, I think that people's morals in crypto were gone probably sometime in 2017 at the very, very latest.
When they bought the top. But there's still a lot of good people around. You just have to really dig. And I tell you what, they're definitely not in maximalist groups. No.
Yep, I would agree with you there, of course.
If you went to a bar full of Maxis, I guarantee you that somebody's gonna have a bottle smashed over their head. A lot. Like this, they wouldn't be able to behave like that in public. And if they think that they can, then guess what? That citadel that you're all going to go into, we're going to drop a big asteroid on it because we don't want you here. We don't want you on Earth. Or go to fucking Mars and get away from all of us because we're tired of that pathetic behavior.
So I remember saying, like, in the article that I wrote, I said something like, if Adam, because in our conversation, Adam says, yeah, Bitcoiners are a little bit jaded because they've been defending themselves for, years, but they're at least, they're at least nice about it. And I said,
what? That's making an excuse for bad behavior? No.
Yeah. And I said that if Adam thinks that Bitcoin maximalists are nice, he should go observe the behavior in the Orange Pill podcast group in the Maxi podcast group for one night and observe the pit of vipers in action.
I don't even know if you call that vipers. That's like a snake half bitten, eaten off by a wolf and doesn't really understand whether it's coming from the front or back anymore. Like, it's some seriously messed. This is what happens when you have toxic behavior among people. There is no real rhyme to reason. There is no honor among thieves, right? That is an old phrase. So what do you think they are? Because they're honorless. Lots are honorless. So I've basically deemed that up. Toxic maximalism is a form of theft, and I know that there is no honor among thieves. So now I understand toxic maximalism a little bit better. They would eat each other if they had to. That's disgusting. You know what? Us altcoiners don't do that.
Well, we do.
And I'm like, oh no, I delegated myself as altcoiner. No, I should rephrase that. More of a technologist. I'm interested in everything crypto. There's so many layers right now.
Profit maximalist.
There's just so many layers right now. Like,
all right, so
the NFT layers upon what was the other thing that we were exploring last night? NFT layers. There's going to be horse betting. There's basket. There's so much going on, and even other people who are OGs in the scene are like, I've sat down, had some chats with them, and they're like, wow, you're right. We can't be biased to everything going on. This is the coolest train ride ever. You can go from one train to the next and it's a new party and you can meet really cool people and have a great time till you run into toxic Maxi train. You want to hit the whatever that thing is that makes it locked into the train and let that shit slide away and keep going on the train of the party of the cool people. Like, you've seen that in movies where they disconnect the train and they let that back end. Yeah, that's where the Maxi should go.
All right, so there's a couple more things that I want to cover for sure, and because before we get off here, and we don't have too much more time, so I want to make sure that we talk about a couple things. You said something about NFTs, so I kind of wanted to maybe take a minute right now to promote the NFT of me that you're working on.
No,
not yet.
For them the whole. Yeah, I knew you'd be, but I would. Upon that, I got some good news for you.
Okay.
If you need a guest spot next week, I'll come on next week and maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more because we got time.
Okay.
So if you're missing, might be able to come on. I'll be a little bit more prepared. As you know, whatever happened today. Super lack of sleep for me over the last 24 hours. I have no idea why, whether it's just April and all that.
Can we at least say that the NFT will be for sale on?
No. Won't tell them nothing.
God, fine. See, D'Artagnan 8 is saying no fucking thanks. Like, no fucking thanks because NFTs are just JPEGs.
We're good with that. We understand all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We know that NFTs are card trading games. We're using a lot of caution. I understand already if I want to go buy an NFT. I did a big podcast group here last night as a guest host as well. When I went to go buy his NFT, it was like $35. And then if I wanted to actually buy it, it would be $101 because there was a $70 fee. We are very aware of those kind of things right now. We even discussed black market NFTs, probably something you haven't even ever heard of yet. But there is a real black market for NFTs right now. And it's growing because of people like myself who are saying these fees are stupid. Like, they're absolutely stupid. Why would I pay more than double price for something? And like what he said, it's just a JPEG, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just a JPEG. It's a smart contract that's tied to another smart contract, which costs money to build and make. And that's
you
the thing.
Can't always see the full NFT that you could just screenshot.
No, not on depends. Like most networks now, Rarible and OpenSeas, it's like unlocking a treasure chest. You can't get that treasure chest until you pay that money, and then it unlocks and you get to have the rest of an NFT, or there could be another further contract inside of that contract. There's a lot of possibilities in NFTs. The problem is it's very greed orientated right now. It's very I'll quote an artist here this morning who said, because I've been helping artists get verified on these networks, and one of them, he said, it seems like they're only catering to, I should find this message actually, just to make it sound better. One is your account, can you? Said that they were only catering to like well-known artists right now for verification, which doesn't make any sense other than we're back to the good old boys club again. So if we're going to good old boys the NFTs, then NFTs are going to go downhill fast. No, I would hate to see somebody spend $100,000 on an NFT to put it in their closet for the next 10 years because it's only worth $100 after the hype is done. Just like hockey cards, just like baseball cards. Sure, if you have a rookie baseball card that's 100 years old right now, it's worth some money. That's one in how many thousands of players. That could be the same effect to NFTs. So everybody should be very careful when dealing with NFTs right now.
Yep,
I say use caution. Okay, you're just throwing money out in the air for nothing. It cost me a whole bunch of money just to learn about them. I was sending and creating, and so I made myself a verified user so that if people saw I'm more of a collector creator, I don't intend to swap and trade these right off the top. I think that there hasn't been anything created like it right now as far as collectors go. Collectors don't advertise their collection yet. So I could go and buy something from 20 different collections, and then I can re-auction them or resell them off of my own collection. So because we have these different layers of people and verification inside of it, you have to do a lot of research. You have to figure out, is this really the artist? Is this a clone? It's almost worse than altcoins NFTs right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
All
then
right,
we
so
have
let's move to
foundation. We have foundation, and we have MeWe. Is that what it's called? And we also have Hive, and we also have, like, there's so much going on in that scene. So I would tell people, don't disregard it, even though I'm pushing out a bunch of warnings. There's huge things going on in whatever NFT is. Like, pay attention to
enterprise
it.
NFT is also a real thing, and I am
Okay.
eventually going to have a guest on this show to talk about the reality of enterprise NFTs.
Mhm.
So let's move to the next question, and that is, okay, there's something that you said shortly after you contacted me after my stream with Maddie Allen. You said toxic tribalism killed my best friend.
Yeah, we can't mention names. No, that's not the first though either, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a few more people who've passed away inside of crypto probably earlier because of tribal maximalism. Because I you know what, I don't know if we can call it maximalism, but tribal behavior, toxic tribal behavior inside of, but it's, again, it's not that either. It's more like the cancel culture. People strive to make other people feel bad. They do. I've never really had that persona to me. If you want a shoulder to cry on, you already know you can phone me up inside a Telegram, and
Yes, I'm one
rewarding
of the
to
very
that,
few
right?
exceptions of people who can call you.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people who get to, yeah, but I don't beat the puppy dog when it comes crying to me, do I? And I'm not negative towards this whole scene. Like, sometimes you sure, like, I rant like anybody else does when I see something, and what you just commented about, I'll send you some rants, but I don't add more negative to the already negative nature, do I?
Nope,
Like,
I don't think that you do.
what's
Except
wrong
for
with
occasionally you have been in like Maxi mode, and then I've been like, I'm not talking to Rick right now. And those are times when I like write Incogniticus privately, and I'm like, I'm not speaking to Rick.
but it's also a mindset, and you're right, and it's, like I said, poison, right?
Yeah.
Self-poisoning yourself. Who wants to poison yourself?
Yeah, I'll be like, tell Rick to call me when he gets back to normal.
Well, I know this is very unfortunate news, but I'm going to share it with everybody. I haven't shared it on my Twitter or anything like that. We recently had a death, a member of our inside my fairly immediate family, a very young girl under the age of 5. And somebody made fun of that when I finally revealed that inside of one of these chat channels. And I attribute that to toxic maximalism. But when I saw that shame and that behavior of shame come from those people, all of them in general, I realized something, that they have no common interest for the perseverance of the human species. None whatsoever. Not even any moral bone in their body. The only thing they can think of is continue to be toxic. So with that said, that was one of these final blows in these chat rooms, because I could use it as information to judge people, because I know that people use cancel culture in a method. They'll keep bugging you until you say something emotional. Well, this time, the emotional thing that I said to them, I was waiting for a response, and it was a responsing. And when they responded, I was like, wow, you're all soulless. And you already know I'm not really one who's so I practice Buddhism, so it's a different kind of understanding about life and whether there's a soul or not. But this is the first time I've actually encountered people on Earth that I would consider to be soulless, even though it's not a real strong behavior belief of mine. I cannot believe how soulless toxic maximalism is.
So the reason that I want to bring this up is not just because a lot of the people who are watching this show understand that and have experienced it from various maximalist groups.
Really? So we actually have audience people who have experienced very similar what I'm discussing right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, not specific to, being criticized for having an immediate family, the death of an immediate family member, but
No, I know.
just really, really, really toxic experience with maximalists. And kind of, part of the reason that I want to bring that up now is because, we've got Hexicans are a group, they're, a family, they're a family that has experienced a lot of negativity and as a result has become very close, has become very really tightly knit and really in a lot of ways really maximalist. And it's okay if you want kind of something that I've been saying from the beginning, from when I started becoming involved with this group, is it's okay if you want to hold only one coin, but it's really important that you don't disparage others who want to, be diversified and explore other things. And particularly attacking people personally is never okay.
No, it's bad. I explain this to people, and when I hear this and somebody says altcoin and then they get mad at that person, they say this is bad, and I'm like, wait a second. Like, the only thing that person believes in, you just shit all over. That does not work very good. That's like, again, we can put this in a real world. That's like you buying a brand new car and me going and looking at it and say, that's terrible. This is awful. But then you just worked 10 years and saved your pennies and picked up Coke bottles out of the ditch to buy that car. I just made you feel so bad for your biggest accomplishment ever. That was the lowest thing a human being could do to another human being, in my opinion. That draws the line between who is human and who is not, or the definition of what is human, because maximalism is not human, not at all.
So the kind of owner or co-owner of this media station, RG3, said Maxis have beat us about the head and neck furiously for over a year. Yeah, totally. It has. They have.
A lot longer than a year.
A lot longer than a year. Yeah, absolutely. They have. But that's not an excuse to start doing it to other people. And I know that most people.
Let's put the rhyme to reason here. They're just pumping their own bags, guys. They're no different than any altcoin pumper. They're just pumping their own bags. No, how pathetic is it? Let's say it for what it really is. Saying that everything else is shitty except for Bitcoin, they're pumping their own bags.
Mm-hmm.
If I worked in the SEC, there'd be a lot of Bitcoiners that would be deplatformed.
So someone else just said, when Hex is number one, no mercy. Sorry. So if you do that, then I will attack that as much as I attack Bitcoin maximalism now. Just
if you do what?
He's saying so Hex Genius says when Hex is number one, no mercy. So if I'm saying, as I have said from the beginning, that if that is the case, then expect me to be adamantly against it in the same way. You're Brennan. You changed your name, Brennan. Okay. Stop, Brennan.
Trying to have one without the other, or just becoming the other again, doesn't make any sense. That goes back to a very old saying on Earth: two wrongs don't make a right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Don't do it twice. Don't do it twice wrong. Well, that's going to be real great. So don't always try to be number one. It's that gives me the army feeling. The armies can be kind of toxic as well. They kind of run into cancel culture behavior. We can't have that. If we want every project to get rightful credit for their work, then we all have to be supportive of that work.
Mm-hmm. And really, we need each other to continue to grow. So yeah, multiple things can and will exist. Yeah, totally. Chaotic Creations, Johnny Chaos. Love to hear that from you. All right, so Rick, let's talk about this possibility. What do you think? All the laser eyes, Bitcoin to 100K or 300K before the end of the year.
I'm going to take this from a chat room again. If Janet Yellen keeps seeing laser eyes, she's going to say something real bad, and Bitcoin's going to go real down fast. It's like people need to laser eyes. It's just like the embarrassment I'm passing around right now. People who are saying Bitcoin to 200,000. I'm like, are you really, really embarrassing yourself that much? Because I'm going to be here. And in a year when it doesn't hit 200K, I am going to be the loud person asking what and why did you guys even say such things? There's a lot of people who are trying to shill out this triple up of Bitcoin price right now. Is it not absolutely ridiculous? Like,
Yeah, well, I mean,
right? It's
do you remember you and I first started talking about this as a private call, and you were like, I can't believe that you kind of reached the same conclusion as I did. And I said, why can't Bitcoin reach, why can't Bitcoin reach 200 or 300K? Well, because for it to do that, its market cap would have to increase by this much. Where is that money going to come from?
There's going to be so many people buying houses between there and now. It's not the market cap so much that scares me, and I'm not scared at all. It's the fact that some 12-year-old kid could find a hard drive with 1,000 Bitcoin on it in 6 months from now, and he could really wreck all of our lives for 72 hours. It would be a pretty cool dump, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, well, that's been catching, people have been catching, their support has been rolling in on Bitcoin. That's also a artificial, when you start becoming like the Donald Trump of crypto, for lack of better words, and we all know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say his name.
Mm-hmm.
That leads to bad distribution, and we all seen what happened to the former POTUS, right? He not only got deplatformed, he's been like erased from history almost right now. Could the same thing happen to Bitcoin super ultra maxis who are trying to buy up all the supply right now? You could be chastised in the future and pointed at, saying, and all of us looking at you going, well, why'd you do that? And you wreck distribution. Now people don't want to go in it because you own too much of it. We all know that. This is a blockchain. And people don't realize some of their actions, what they're doing, are actually going to perform negative results in the future of crypto.
Yeah.
They're not thinking, though. They think with their ego, not their self.
Yeah, and that's something that I've been saying. Kind of occasionally someone will reach out to me from like an academic circle, a sociologist or an anthropologist or even a religious studies person, having found some of my work and say like, hey, I would, can we talk about what's going on here? And I said, a lot of what's going on here is that because of this space is primarily dominated by men, the ego, it's
more.
No, I know there's more and more women, but I would say that the women who are here are like real alphas. Like,
yeah. Well, alpha leftists. Somebody said this quote here the other day, and I wish I could remember right now, but I can't. How a toxic maxi goes off into these fits. These behavioral fits, and we can identify them now. We can see them. I think the jar is closing on toxic maximalism. It's not going to be around forever. I'm glad that it's actually spreading right now, aren't you? Because the only way to get rid of a virus is to spread it so we can kill it.
So someone says, Diraj Moore says, and this is something, Rick, that you and I have really and we've touched on it kind of really, really briefly, and we don't have a lot of time, so I'm hoping that you can provide some kind of quick response. Someone says the Mt. Gox coins are going to be distributed next quarter.
Yeah, like it matters. It's just like a storyline of FUD. Ooh, Mt. Gox coins. You think they're all going to get back and they're all going to be distributed properly? I don't know. I've been reading about people talking about they're in the lawsuit for getting their coins back. Where are their coins? Where are they? Do they know where they are? Are they really coming back? Like right now, it's all rumors. I'm not going to buy on that rumor of Q2 that all the and you know what it probably is? It's probably a bunch of wolves starting rumors so that when they dump on your asses their bitcoins, when they're trying to shill you them up here at $60,000, they're going to blame the MT Gox coins. I've been in this game so long. I've seen the lies. It's just going to be a lie, a cohort's lie. Do you understand where I'm getting at, Nicole?
Yeah, I do.
Like this, I can't say it's going to be real. To me, it's a dump excuse for maxis. And then when they dump on everybody's heads and then they laugh about it, but then they're telling you, well, you should buy it. You should buy more Bitcoin, right?
Right. Okay. Buy the dip.
Buy their dip. You mean buy their selling? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. That's... Are we not all surprised? Like anybody who's new to trading and crypto and Wall Street, this is Wall Street behavior.
Yep.
This has not changed in a lot of years. So you can go talk to Wall Street people, look around, same things going on. It's just different actors now.
newbie, I don't want to bring back flippening into our lexicon because I feel like I loved the term and I think that it's funny, but I feel like it's just another like way that separates us and angers people and whatever. So okay, Rick, I have one more question for you, and then I want to ask what you want to sort of promote. But so the last thing that I want to ask is, recently you've commented on some threads that I've been in about having started looking into hex. Is that the case?
Yeah, I hear chatter about it through other chat rooms, and I don't snap or hiss at it anymore because I realize that I'm just being a what do they call that? Cat caller type of thing, behavior. Hissing at something that I don't really understand, or I haven't taken the time to take part of and understand. And I hear a lot of very good positive comments about it. And people do talk about how
take the time.
Yeah. Well, just listening to open conversation about it, and people's are still mixed on it, and a lot of people bring up that Richard had kind of a bad swing in it all, and then we discuss other influencers in crypto now and how they are all kind of the same a little bit. Maybe they're almost weird, one might say, and they need that, because if you're gonna be normal and you're just gonna I'm trying to think of a crypto Vitalik Buterin. Could you imagine Vitalik Buterin on a podcast? Like, are you going to go watch him pick his nose, or are you going to watch him talk about crypto? Because he is one of the most boring crypto talkers in the universe. Like, I am not joking. I interviewed the guy at $3 ETH, and I want to go back to that interview right now, and I want to capture a couple of really big highlights and start playing them back to people, because Vitalik has no fucking clue. Look, F just passed $2,000 last night, and I can take quotes back where he's like, "Wow, I doubt it'll go past $10." He had no idea what he was even doing. There's so many dev creators that don't realize the value in what they're doing because they're being smoked down by toxic maximalists, because they're being smoked down by bad, shameful public opinion that, like I explained to the car thing, when you work real hard at something, you don't want to be criticized in an absolute negative way. You want constructive criticism instead.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Rick, will you do this with me? This is a thing that I just kind of started, just came up with this idea.
What are you doing now?
This week, hang on, I'm trying to figure out how to make it fit on this screen. I want to build a bridge. Like,
oh my God, you want to I know what you're doing. You're doing the TikTok thing.
Yeah, I don't
even know which direction that's in. Is that in this direction? I don't know if my camera will let me do that.
It looks like we're trying. We're trying.
I got mine set up really kind of different.
Yeah, there we go. We got it. We built a bridge.
Though. Your hand's too small.
We built a bridge today, guys.
That's funny.
All right, Rick, thanks so much for being my guest today, or being here with all of us, and just having this open conversation, sharing. There's a million more things that we could talk about, so I would love for you to come back on again sometime. Before we go, is there anything like your podcast that you want to promote? Well,
I'd never shell my podcast. You can only, if you go looking, you can only find a link to it on my Twitter. I'm not even going to shell where it is. You're gonna do. It's like if you're gonna look at all of these altcoins, and you're gonna look at Bitcoin, and you're gonna go be able to tell me ERC20 and SHA 256 and 800 more algorithms that most people don't even know about, but you can't research a podcast. So think about that. So some of us are in crypto. We don't want to have this big, huge influence. I don't want people to buy the top. I don't want to overexcite people during an emotional time. That's why I haven't added any episodes to my podcast right now. I hope that's clear to people and they understand that, because I could go on a podcast and tell you that Bitcoin's going to be worth $500,000. Well, that's going to give you an emotional response and you might do something bad. So I don't do that. So most of the time when we're done the rally, then I start producing the podcast again. So let's take that into perspective. Look at all these people right now who are producing podcasts during this rally. Now, one might say, well, this is entertaining and it's entertainment, but it's also irresponsible of some, because not a lot of people are cross-referencing their information. Now, if YouTube was like Facebook and they actually did fact checking, there would be no crypto YouTubers, would there? Did
Yeah.
you get that? Like, not many of them are spewing out facts, or they're just rereading white papers. Or,
Oh yeah, no, I think everybody who's watching this certainly knows or are paid to say certain things. Even if they do research on it, they're paid, and then because they're paid, their research, they're biased to skew the research in a certain way because they're paid in tokens. So of course they want those tokens to increase in value.
Well,
Absolutely.
And trend chasers. We're seeing some podcasters be trend chasers where they're having writers write topics when they're not even fully versed in crypto. And
So
yet,
guys, Rick, they want me to invite you into the Hex Telegram chat room.
oh, there's such a thing.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So I'm extending that invitation. There's also a couple of people who have said that they want to talk to you. So maybe they'll reach out to you and see if you might want to come on their podcast someday.
Indeed. I know I definitely have lots to say when it comes to crypto. That's for sure. There's no doubt about that. It's an interesting journey it's been for the last 10 years. But there's been no real super hard times other than watching, other people. And I've made this quote before. I haven't lost a lot in crypto. I've lost friends though. And I mean, I don't mean like just losing them as them not talking. I mean them being buried in the ground. That sucks. Some of those friends I wanted to enjoy money with, and now I can't. But that is life, and it is a behavioral lesson in life that things can be great, and tomorrow you can wake up and they can't be so great sometimes. Well, crypto does that to us too. So we have to be very careful and mindful what we're doing when we're in crypto. This is going to be one of the biggest movements in humanity. It is already probably the most precedent movement ever towards a layer one money that our earth has ever experienced. Like, unless we've been here for 2 or 3 million years and don't know that we've reset a few times, something incredible is happening. We talked about this last night in a big chat group as well. Whatever's going on right now is not going to stop. And my best advice for everybody is this: you should consider all crypto rare. There's not enough of them to go around to everybody on earth. Yeah, I'd probably be more than glad to guest on other podcasts a little bit, because I think the story of crypto from different perspectives needs to be told. We have too much noise coming from the maximalist side, and a lot of the altcoin podcasters aren't looking at a clear picture. They're still just grasping for money.
And a lot of that's also the true for Bitcoin podcasters.
Oh yeah, no, Bitcoin podcaster right now, as far as I can tell, are some of the most toxic, shameful wastes of time, energy, and space on the planet. Like, it's like trying to tell me to go buy gold. I don't have any gold coins on my desk. I got silver coins. I know why I don't have gold coins. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants silver coins, for God's sakes. Why would they want gold coins? It's going to be the same way with Bitcoin. It's not going to be any different. Everybody's going to want some weird, like, Astro Star coin that we don't even have in the markets right now, right? It's going to be some different coin. If we all think Bitcoin's going to be number one, that's not true. It's going to be something else, and it'll probably creep up on us in the next 3 to 5 years, and that'll be the one. Well, I've been hearing a lot of cool things. Like, people are talking about 300,000 transactions per second on some coins. There's a lot of really good things going on and really smooth things, and I understand more of that, the intricacy part of needing to have hardware computer equipment to process blockchain transactions. And now the fact that there's a lot of this equipment around, and people can make independent blockchains, and they can secure that blockchain, and they can be transparent about it. This is evolution. Instead, everybody, or at least talks to Maxis, they just want to fight. And would they even understand what I just said? Would they? I don't know.
Nope. We're both going to get cancel cultured hard for this.
Oh, I already know. Probably there's going to be some pretty heavy feedback. I mean, there's not a lot of times that people or OGs in crypto are going to come on. I know another OG in crypto. He's just returned after he got some terrible experiences. I should speak with him and see if he wants to come on your show too, because
I would love that.
it would be a really interesting perspective, because he's one of the first people I ever watched get destroyed by cancel culture in here, and like just ruined him. All of his money gone and crying, and it's pretty hard to hear. I mentioned a day when we know a long time ago when a lot of people got margin called on one afternoon, and I'll never forget going to chat room, and there was grown men crying. And I'm like, wow, this is kind of sucky. No, it's not exactly the party I want to be in. I don't want to go, wow, I made money, but you guys are all like gonna lose your house now. That doesn't feel right, but it has to, because I don't want to lose either. It is a very weird environment. It's shameful. It to me, it feels very shameful when people basically stick more pins in the cushion after it's already been popped. It's like, wow, why are you doing that? But they do, and they like doing it. But yeah, I'm gonna. There's a few guests, and I really do like what you've been doing on your podcast and the format you've gone. There's nobody else that's really gone in this direction in crypto. Nobody wants to step outside the box. The name's pretty neat. I think you got a good thing going on.
Thanks, Rick. You've always liked my thing, so appreciate that. I appreciate you. We kind of became friends, and we became really close friends really fast because we, bonded over this really shared experience. So I really, really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to me today. Hey guys, Rick is probably going to get canceled and unfollowed by a lot of people. So if you like anything about what he's got to say, or you want to support someone who's supporting the end to toxic is toxic tribalism, Rick is Crypto After Dark on Twitter.
Yeah, that's at Crypto After Dark. I post on your Twitter. Back and forth when there's cool topics. I mean, people get right into it. And you're right, we did it. We absolutely kicked it off pretty cool, because and I think that I'd respond to you. I was kind of shocked at some of your responses. I'm like, are you for real? I'm like, you're really looking at the same kind of things that I am. I'm like, well, where have we been? I'm like, why haven't we talked earlier? And
I actually even remember you saying, at one point that you were like slightly nervous that I was a plant. I was even going to
mention that today again, but I didn't.
Yeah, that was funny. All right, so I shared
because of the information. I'm not going to say it publicly, but I'll tell you about what I've learned over the last week is because of that kind of stuff. You don't know who is insecure with themselves, or who needs to have people spied on and stuff in crypto. You don't know, and there's a lot of people like that. They think that their information need grants them access to be able to spy on people. That's not how Earth works. No, you have to hire a registered private investigator to do that, who is licensed. But people go around in social media and think that they can be these little PIs and dox people. No, that's not legitimate. No, it isn't at all.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up, because I'm going to take my daughter to the Titanic exhibit at our local science museum.
Oh, you guys have a thing like that. It's cool.
Yeah, we're going to go have fun. We're going to go do that.
I think the week's news has been really cool. Give everybody cool recap on what crypto is before we all say goodbye.
Yeah, do it.
You know what? Everybody was like, we're going to have a blood red weekend, and we are well into the weekend, and it does not look like that. And I've been here. I have dust that can fall on my head that's as old as crypto. And Easter weekend, usually we have no volume. This is an exception, very huge exception this weekend. We have volume. I've seen Easter weekends, you could quote me from 4 years ago even, where I say, hey, there's zero volume. Nobody's buying anything. And I'd watch that for hours, and it'd just be a straight line. You know what no volume candles look like. Non-stop like that all the way until Monday morning. Well, the world's changed. The world of crypto is changing, let's say. I can't see Earth is changing around it yet, but it's going to happen. But yes, thank you for having me on as a guest. Thanks you guys for coming on.
And everybody's saying again, please come hang out with us in Hex Chat. I will send you a link to the Hex Chat Telegram group in case you would like to join at any point.
Indeed. Absolutely. I'd be pleased actually.
All right, awesome. I'll send you a link. Thanks, guys, for being here. This has been Building Bridges. I will see you for sure next week, if not sooner, and definitely sooner on Twitter. I love you. Have an awesome day.
Cool. Take it easy, everybody.